Mr. Roster.eth, welcome to the stage, man.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Just want to hop in on the conversation, or did you have a specific question?
No, the conversation, I did just jump in. I know
Cool.
I might have missed the initial, but I see we're talking about just, I guess, the mainstream adoption of Web3 in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Web3, obviously, it's the next evolution of the internet, and it will get adopted, and we just kind of speculating here how and when we think it'll get adopted, but also just the overall pros and cons of a virtual world taking over. I think it'll be interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is. I'm a big fan of the metaverse personally. Shoot, I mean, it's back. I'm a 30-year-old man, just turned 30. In America, New Orleans, and I live in New Orleans. Tech is not the forefront. Accessibility still, like energy, internet isn't like normalized here. So personally, I'm trying to be that bridge and get people locally here, including the Black community, into Web3. So yeah, this is a great conversation to have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take, pioneers of the space to get people on board. What's up, Captain America? How you been, man?
Good. Just working and stuff, but I'm glad I made it.
Glad to see you, man. Glad to see you. All right.
What I miss? So catch me up.
You didn't miss much. We just started the conversation about Web3.
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions? I don't want claim to be an expert in the metaverse, but I do spend a lot of time researching.
I want to say, how do you guys feel about play to earn gaming is a sensitive subject, so I may not bring that up. But how do you guys feel about major brands like Mercedes or like Formula One teams like jumping into the metaverse?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I think it's going to happen, and if all of these brands, I'm not necessarily want to stay relevant, but I mean it's just another source of traffic. So I don't see why they would adopt. I don't see why they wouldn't adopt the metaverse and play to earn gaming.
In general is good.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean any sort of marketing. Play to earn gaming, dude. I'm a huge fan of, and I'm curious to see how that plays out because a lot of these play to earn games that we're seeing, and if people don't know what play to earn gaming what it is essentially that the game is built on a blockchain, and the game has a currency system, their own cryptocurrency. For instance, I'm just going to throw it out there because Fortnite is very popular. V-Bucks, if V-Bucks was a cryptocurrency and you could play Fortnite and earn V-Bucks by playing the game, that's play to earn gaming. So that kind of whole concept is coming to fruition, and we're seeing a lot of play to earn games come out. But my only problem is that the games that are coming out are too small of a scale to sustain an economy.
100%, man. I agree. I'm an extra project, Panty Dogs, and the number one issue with it is that fact that it wasn't that we couldn't get sales or get volume. It's the people, the data. We don't have enough people consistently playing to actually get enough data to build out a legitimate game to make public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made the mistake. There was a game called Thetan Arena.
Bro, I'm with you. I'm like $1,000 in.
Yeah,
People like, it's great. Personally, I'm from the beginning. I did make my money back, but it was like back when Thetan was making like $200, $300 a day. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, that dude, like playing it was not sustainable, and I made the mistake of not getting out, and so I lost all my money.
Understood. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Hey,
what a sense. Basically, so now you're making. I think I'm making every pool. I still play Thetan. I'm still with it. Honestly, I'm too invested. I think it's good long term. Right now,
it's a fantastic game. Like it was the best game I've seen on a block, like play to earn gaming wise. It's just if you think about how it has to sustain a token value, it's too small. And so anybody here, when you're looking at a play to earn game, make sure the scale is big enough to sustain value.
How do you figure out the scale of a play to earn game?
I mean, just kind of.
I mean, you got to be skilled to earn anything in general now.
You can track the wallets per play to earn PlayToEarnGame.com tracks the volume on every play to earn game. There's data sites out there that collect information. You can track it and see. Honestly, I think right now Squareland is doing pretty good. They're doing better than thinking. Honestly,
Have you guys ever played Mir 4, MIR 4?
No.
No.
I heard it, man. It's on a lot of people's top 5 list. I didn't get into it myself. I looked at it back in December. How is it going for the community and the technology?
Man, I'll be honest with you, man. I played that for maybe like 2 months, and I was at the level of people who had put thousands of dollars into the game.
That's crazy.
I understand to do it. I think it's easy. So, how was your return on it?
I mean, I just kept playing it, man. I really never cashed out anything. So, like, I don't know what my account is worth. I know my boy told me if I was to put it on eBay, which is what he told me, I could sell it for like $500 or $600 or something like that. But yeah, it was one of those things you could like set like task and you could kind of just leave it alone and it would just kind of like auto complete the task. And unless somebody was like really being mean and trying to come in there and kill you, you were good to just keep like mining stuff like as you slept. So it was an interesting concept.
I want to run something by you guys and see what you think. The way I see the future of play to earn gaming is that there's going to be a bunch of smaller games part of a larger world. So let's say there's a metaverse and you go into that metaverse and kind of like Roblox right now, just like you can go in Roblox and play a bunch of different games because people can make their own games. There's going to be like a metaverse, and then you go to one section of metaverse and you're playing this game. But the token you're earning is not specific to that game, but it's for the overall metaverse, and that's how it sustains value. What do you guys think of that?
I think you're right. I mean, Gala Games, they're probably the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
They are definitely going on. They were learning. They're going at that approach. And I don't know if you guys are tracking Big Time as well. I mean, they're a studio, so I think what you're saying is basically to invest in player gaming studios who have an overall governance token that works in all of their games that's interoperable, right?
Yeah,
I've heard of Big Time, and I haven't been keeping track of the project. Is it worth taking a look at?
They are in their gold alpha pass right now. They have a month early access. So I don't have a gold. I'm a silver. I won't be able to get into the middle of next month personally. Just looking at the market though. Yeah, the land personally, I did get a credit card just for the land. I spent about $5,000 in that game. I do think it is. I think long term it's going to be great.
Did you get anything back from that?
No, man, you can't even play like that.
Damn. So you lost $5,000.
No, you didn't lose it because you only lose if you sell. I mean, that's just how assets.
That's the space,
But
man.
you don't
only
have
lose
it.
if you sell.
That goes back to exactly the first.
I did the same thing in TCG World. I spent $2,000 on some plots of land that I can't even use yet because I don't have access to the alpha.
Yeah, and that's how NFT world is, man. You buying these projects. I mean, let's be real, guys. Web3, I mean, is an evolution of Web2, but it's like we are investing in like seed fund rounds. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, it's the infancy stages. Yeah. We're basically investing on speculation right now.
100%. Now, Big Time, like I said, you can play it right now. You can see people streaming every day. It was great, honestly. I mean, you can check the marketplace with items going for $20,000 to $10,000. Do I think I'm gonna get my $5,000 back off my land ownership? 100%. No, honestly, I'm not worried about it. I think I am, but to each their own.
Yeah. Man, play to earn gaming is such a fun concept because if you think about automation and technology and AI, so many jobs are going to be gone because you're not going to need like people in the stores. You're not going to need clerks and stuff like that. And so where are all these jobs going to go? Well, they're just going to go online, and people are going to start playing video games for money, and that's going to become normal.
I do agree. I think third world, second world countries are already picking it up, where it's like no one wants to be an auto mechanic or clean out someone's house, one of those kind of things. Third, second world countries making $20, $50 a day when you can play a game that less effort. You didn't leave your home, and you're making the same, if not more.
You know what's crazy? That brings up something I thought about the other day. All these Twitch and live stream gamers from women that are making millions of dollars. Does that bug anybody, or is it just me?
No, that bugs me.
I don't just bug me.
If I was a woman and I heard about that, I would get a Twitch account tomorrow and make all of you pay to watch me try to play COD.
The hot tub freaking. I remember that was a whole thing. The hot tub. Women doing hot tub live streams. That was like a big thing in November, October, I think last year. Yeah, that was killing it, man. I can't blame them. I think everybody switched between hobbies and entrepreneurship and just
No, I don't blame them whatsoever. I'm like, hey, you know the game, play the game.
Yeah, so I'm saying I'm not mad. I'm not mad at them for doing it. I'm mad at humans for allowing them to do this.
Why was that monetizable, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that's where we're going as a species, I guess. But hey,
I mean, I think society. When we're talking about metaverse as mainstream, right? Like, how will it get there? I mean, we all. I don't know how you guys are. Inflation is real, right? Stock market. I see a recession happening within a year. Nothing's holding. When you look at the prices, I'm like, I was a Tesla big fan. I mean, not even Tesla. You look at like Walgreens, and it was a $34 stock. I mean, it's just things just aren't the same market value. You know, P rate saying, I just the U.S. dollar being a reserve of the world. I mean, that only lasts between like 50 and 120 years. We are hitting that 100 years, and that change is definitely going to happen to a digital currency. We're just pending what it's going to be. And it's probably going to be a national tether, honestly.
Dude, that'd be interesting. I'm so excited for the next few years, but also I'm not. Like, I could see so much going right, and I could see so much going bad.
It's gonna go bad, bro. Between food shortages, water prices increasing, energy costs increasing.
You know what? I agree with you on mostly everything, but you just made it really depressing.
But it's the truth. It's like, well, we're in
my
crypto.
life is a lie.
Yeah, well, metaverse became dream because the world was too expensive and no one wanted to deal with the world struggles. And it's sad to say, but that is what made entertainment, right? Let's think about World War
So,
I.
how accurate do you think the movie Ready Player One is? Do we think that's a documentary?
I love that movie.
100%. Bro, we don't picture Earth. Yeah.
That's a documentary, is what I'm getting.
Yeah, it's the future, bro. Between, like, we don't have water, we don't have clean waste, we're overpopulated, food shortages.
I'm actually excited for Ready Player 2. Not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah? Did you read the book?
I did. Oh, yeah? I read the first book, not the second one.
I read half the second book.
I didn't read the second one just because the way the movie serve it. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna nail it, but the way the movie industry right now is taking stuff that's either gaming or book wise is bugging me. So, like, it's not. I can't read something and be like, I like this. I hope to see it, and then when I watch it, it's something completely different. That would irritate me. I'm just like
book first or after the movie.
So the first one I read with the movie. Well, I read the first few chapters. I watched the movie, and then I finished the book. Right.
If anyone hasn't read Ready Player One in the audience, please read it. You will love it.
Yeah.
Great book.
I haven't read the second one myself.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What's up?
Do you guys see governments making cryptocurrencies for their currency, like actual currency?
Oh my God, yeah, man. China already did it, man. United States National Bank, I'm pending their beta testing for the past 2 years. I'm honestly waiting for that to
It's
launch.
happening right now in Argentina, Brazil, and Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now here's my second
I'm
part
surprised
to the
that
question.
doing it.
What are they going to tether themselves to? Do they tether themselves to Bitcoin? Do they tether themselves to their actual currency, to their paper currency? What do they tether themselves to?
So China tethered themselves to their actual currency and banned every other technical cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Let's leave China out of this because China is just their own thing, bro. You already know China is just China. So
China's just China.
China's just China.
Hey, you gotta say right. It's China.
China. It's pronounced China. But no. Seriously,
they are the biggest market.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they do a lot of things that other people aren't going to do or adapt to, or they're just so different from what a lot of other countries are trying to do. So, like, yes, the U.S. government has been, or the country, or whatever, however you want to put it, they have been trying to work on a cryptocurrency and trying to work on it. What are they going to tether themselves to? Because let's be honest here, the U.S. dollar itself isn't doing so great. So, like, do they tether themselves to a currency like Bitcoin? Do they go on some altcoin? Where do you think they go?
I do think it has to be tangible, but where they would actually go, I don't know, honestly. I mean, gold's gone, and you can't use the dollar anymore. So, yeah, you're right. I do think maybe in the future it'll be handled by algorithms. You know what I mean? Everything's going online. maybe we end up having a set to an algorithm that just keeps inflation under control, as well as yeah.
We had a space last night, and there was a quote said, "I trust math more than people."
Well,
Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to get at with this. This is what I'm trying to get at with this, and this is where I'm bringing it back to the metaverse for you guys. They make a currency, and this is the new coin, USD, whatever. Okay. Obviously, that eliminates the USDT, USDC, all these other coins that are tethered to the American dollar. American dollar is not absolute. So now you're looking at these coins, and where does any of these other coins in the metaverse, like for example, Upland or what is it, Star Atlas or something else, where you have to purchase these coins with US dollars? How does that affect any of these coin purchases and stuff like that? Do you think that that just completely changes the game and all, or do you think that all stays the same?
I think it's the same, man. You're always gonna have ecosystems with their own coins because everybody
100%.
is trying to take their own profits, right? Everybody charges a 1% to 3% back end fee for their platform, right? No, other coins will never go away. There was going to be a Coinbase is going to have a coin. I mean, think about America, right? Miami has their own city coin. Atlanta is looking at their own city coin, and it's moving forward to other cities in Washington. So, no, I think everybody has their own coin, but you're right as far as like what the main standard was going to be.
I just think as the value of the US dollar goes down, more and more people are going to be looking for alternatives, and cryptocurrency is just going to be answers. So they're just, I easily see just a global currency shift to where there is
Isn't
no.
that happening now though?
Yeah,
technically?
it is. Yeah,
How
pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's going to be a global currency shift. I mean, it's happening to where the
we
US.
have one of the person. There we go.
Oh, welcome to the stage, Moose.
You're good. Yeah. I saw you wanted to speak. What's up, Moose?
You guys think about it, like what's more important you guys are investing, right? Like I used to be I'm 30 years old, like I said, man, a stockbroker, investing into companies, blue chip companies. But moving forward to Web3, like what do you guys think is more important? Web3 blue chip NFTs or Web2 blue chip companies? Personally, I'm investing into blue chip NFTs over my brokerage account. Like I haven't even dropped it over a month.
Yeah, I mean, people definitely have different ideas about where the metaverse is going, and also belief whether or not it's going to happen. I'm with you. I think that people are drastically underestimating the value of blue chip NFTs, but time will tell.
Dude, they're drastically undervaluing the value of blue chip NFTs. Like people do not understand. Like I guess I don't think people understand blue chip stock companies, but let alone blue chip NFTs. It's just like, come on, man. Like,
what's going on, Moose?
Yeah, no, this is great conversation, guys. And my perspective is very similar, but also maybe from a slightly different angle. So I'm a banker. I'm a bank guy, and I've been in banking about 20 years or so. And I stay on top of what's happening in the space because I see what it's doing already, and sort of what the future is becoming, and what's most likely what they're trying to do. The Fed is trying to make their own stable coin right now. So once they're not if they're successful, but once they are able to navigate it successfully and get it done, then the banks are going to start allowing mass adoption. So until then, it's going to be the guys like us in these groups, because it's so much still understood or not understood by the masses. So until our government can wrap their arms around it, regulate it, even though I hate the word regulation, I'm in banking, but until they get it regulated.
I really like you.
We understand why you use it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Until they regulate it in a way that allows for mass adoption, then we're going to see the needles moving. So there's a couple banks right now that are really the leaders in the space. One of them is a bank in Wyoming is very, very much on top of this, and they have a bank.
I know what you're going to say. I'm following them.
Yeah.
It
it used to be called Avanti Bank, but now they actually rebranded. It's Custodia Bank now. And their CEO is a lady named Caitlin Long, and she's a super mega star in the space. So if you guys have a few free minutes at some point, I would recommend that you Google that, look that up, because she's she is literally a trailblazer in the space, and she's fighting for the proper regulation, and her bank will most likely become the very first federally regulated crypto bank.
Ooh.
That is good to know. I mean, Wyoming was the first state to recognize DAOs.
Oh, interesting. No, you're right.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Who I follow on crypto news, and Wyoming did pop up as one of the first state things that allowed people to deposit into our crypto, and I thought that was really cool. So now I know I'm going to be doing more research. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have to buy some land in Wyoming.
She's super. Yeah, she's super.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. What were you going to say? Please carry on.
No, I was going to say, I've been following her for the last, I think since 2019 is when 18 or 19 when I saw some articles on her, and I've been following. So between Custodia Bank and Kraken, which probably a lot of you guys have heard of before, Kraken's trying to do the same thing. So they're not necessarily competitors, because at this stage of the game, you certainly need each other, right? So
yeah,
they're working together, although they're different entities toward the same common goal. So again, it's until you're going to see the Bank of Americas, the JP Morgan Chases, they're going to be the ones that will jump on board first from a mass adoption once these smaller guys are able to trailblaze a bit, because as soon as these big banks see that there's money to be made in the space, they're going to be all over it, and then it'll just filter down from there to the large regionals, to the small state banks and the community banks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, Remdog, that was the question I had for you. I mean, you just mentioned Wyoming being the first to recognize legally recognize DAOs. Is the Bank of America something like a DAO?
The Bank of America is a DAO? No, the Bank of America is not a DAO. A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. Basically, what it is a way to not government make decisions, like decentralized. So Ethereum, for instance, right? People who own Ethereum token, the token holders get to make the decisions about where the network goes and what the network does, right? Because basically, the more tokens you have, the more vote you have. And so it's decentralized. There's not one authority in charge. Other blockchains, kind of like a BNB blockchain, Binance Smart Chain, the token holders token holders. Yeah, sorry, I got lost. I got tagged in something and lost track of my thought. Token holders of BNB Smart Chain, the top 21 token holders get to make the decision, right? So only 21 people really have a vote on the Binance Smart Chain. So it's not as decentralized as Ethereum, but it's still decentralized. So there's different forms of DAOs and ways they work, but essentially it's just a governance, a token that allows people to govern something. So Bank of America is not a DAO. They could go DAO. That'd be cool. I hope everything goes DAO. I hope Facebook goes decentralized, because then Mark Zuckerberg will not have his power.
That's true.
Mark, I want to ask your opinion. How do you feel about Fidelity allowing people to invest in cryptocurrencies with their 401k? I feel like that was a big leap for your mom and pops and your casual consumers, more like your older, maybe 40 and back,
Fidelity did what?
They're offering Bitcoin and just crypto assets in general. You're allowed to invest in an ETF that allows you to invest into specifically, from my understanding, is actually Bitcoin miner hardware, but they are adding exposure to their customers.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. What's also cool is that you can actually buy cryptocurrency in your Roth accounts, your Roth IRAs.
Dude, all that too. I haven't done it yet.
I have a crypto Roth IRA, and actually, my family we have a mining rig, and the mining rig is that we purchased it in our crypto Roth in one of our crypto Roth IRAs. So,
explain that to me, sir. Please explain that to me. I would love to do that with my mom.
Yeah, so basically, it's just when you. I can send you some links if you're curious. I don't know if we want to go down a legal loophole. Yeah, I'll send. But basically, KKOS Law Firm was one of the first law firms to allow crypto and Roth IRAs, and they do a bunch of cool, informative shit. So if you guys you guys are learning about crypto taxes and you need to know your crypto tax information, KKOS law firm, they pioneered that for sure. Anybody have any other questions regarding Web3 or Metaverse? Like, actually, I do have a question. The Oasis. We've all seen Ready Player One. We the Oasis.
Yeah.
How long do you think we're there till we have that technology, where we have technology?
Are we talking virtual reality?
Not virtual reality. I'm talking about.
You're talking like you put on a headset and put on a suit and walk in this machine.
Yeah, but no, I'm taking like the Oasis. You saw that. I mean, how advanced that technology was. Not just the haptic gear.
Wait a minute. Ray, you're talking about something that already exists.
No. I understand the haptic technology exists. The omnidirectional treadmills exist. The virtual reality exists. The blockchain and metaverse exists. But it's not combined, and it's not publicly available, and it's not good enough. Yeah,
I think give Elon another year, he'll get that down.
And it won't be here; it'll be on the moon. So
yeah,
it'll be here. I just give it 5 to 10 years, bro. I think like the haptics is here, the technology is here. We have the service, the clusters.
Our kids will be playing it, not us.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Guaranteed. I put on, bro. All right, guys. I sound old here, but I put on virtual reality and I turn my head 2 inches and I get dizzy. So I mean, it's not going to be for me. That's for sure.
Have you tried the Oculus Quest 2?
Oh yeah, I love it. I hate it, but I love it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one that has the which one? Yeah, that's Oculus is the one with the lightsabers, isn't it?
No, that's
called the Meta Quest.
They all have that game. Just to let you know. No, it's specifically the Oculus Quest 2 by Facebook. Do you have that hardware device?
No, not that one. That's the other one, the black one.
Isn't it called?
No, you talking about the Rift? Talking about the Rift?
It's not called the Meta Quest. Oh my!
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, the Meta Quest.
I'm going to say it's called the Meta Quest. You're saying no, but I think you're wrong.
No, it's
Am
the
I
Meta
wrong? Is it actually? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's the Meta Quest 2, but thank you. You can apologize later. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Meta Quest 2.
I won't apologize on stage. You won't get that from me.
No, I know you won't. That's why I said later.
Okay.
We expect nothing less.
What's up, Colby Jack? Welcome to the stage, man.
Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to throw some viewpoints out there. I'm a 3D artist, and I've been in kind of the digital art space for over 14 years. And a lot of times when people talk about like large scale adoption to like VR and stuff like that, I'm constantly going back to the fact that it is this device, and it's very hard to integrate with real life. And I think until that kind of augmented reality and kind of starts to blend better with our everyday lives, I don't see it happening. It's even a struggle to find people to play VR with, to go into these metaverses with on a just from a friend basis. It's hard. It's a device you have to get. You have a lot of times have computers to run this stuff. I mean, I've been playing VR since the first one, like the first dev kit. I've been doing experiences, and it's hard because people get sick. A lot of like my mother will never go in there. It's like it's one of those things that it's hard for mass adoption when it's as complicated as it is.
I agree, but what I like to say to people to that is there's always going to be those people that don't adopt it because it's new technology, right? Just like if Neuralink comes out, me personally, I don't plan on getting a chip in my brain, but I know the next generation growing up in an environment where they never knew anything otherwise, it's going to be, they're not going to know anything else, and they're probably going to get chipped. Same thing with the metaverse. I mean, there's going to be a massive population of people who wear that VR headset, especially when it gets, instead of a bulky Oculus 2, when it's not even that bulky now, think about it in 5 years, that's just going to be a pair of glasses, right? It's going to be super easy and accessible. And also what's going to happen is there's going to become a point where you are behind in your business, or you're not. Right now, I would say that you're at an extreme disadvantage in all aspects of life if you don't have a cell phone. Not I would say all aspects. There's definitely you're better off with that. Yeah, most aspects. Right? There's going to come to a point where if you're not somehow involved with Web3 or in the metaverse, you're going to be at an extreme disadvantage. And so there's going to be a tipping point where even though the majority, I mean, not even the majority, but just some people might not want to be involved, they're going to just, have their hand forced.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not even just that. It's like high-speed internet. You know what I mean? Not even cell phones. Again, I'm a black guy who's in New Orleans. I can't. I'm pushing Web3 as hard as I can, but I live in an area where the power goes out at least once a week.
Dude, could you imagine trying to log into the Oasis with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I barely, barely. I mean, it's trying to even do day trading on my internet is annoying. Let alone trying to connect to freaking Web3 websites, which I know you have to have consistent connection. Like, I've been there. It's annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Just from some of the tech things that I've seen here in LA, we do a lot of conventions for VR and for like emerging technologies and stuff. And it is all very cool, but it's very, very like not gimmicky, but it's very like just on the very tip of the threshold of like being comfortable for more people to adopt. But it's a hard sell for a lot, like you said, like for people that don't have stable internet connections, that barely have computers or even just like have basic cell phones. The mass adoption, I don't think will happen as quickly as we think or as broadly as we think, mostly because of those limitations.
Well, I when I say mass adoption, I don't necessarily mean virtual reality, and I'd also like to point out, in the past,
very, very true. Yeah, it's true.
Because Web3 is going to take over. Web3, no matter what, is going to take over because it's the next evolution of the internet. The metaverse is just kind of an added bonus on top of it that is going to appeal to a very large audience, but not everybody. I don't think my grandma will be putting on a virtual reality headset. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will, and a lot of.
Hey, you never know. She made an
never
iPhone
know.
work, right?
She did. My grandma's trading crypto daily right now, actually. So she might hop in the metaverse. I don't know.
She comes at you. Did you hear about that new coin? And you'll be like, what?
No, she texts me all the time. She's like, what do you think of this coin? What do you think of this coin? I'm like, Grandma, what? I don't even know.
Let me research it.
Yeah.
And you also have to think about the global scale. United States, Canada, countries in Europe, they have the technology and capability of doing that. But if you talk to South Americans, they're still struggling. Some people don't even have the internet. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I know, again, most Black culture, they're not really with the internet. They don't like banking. They're not with Web 2.0 already. People I know still keep their money in their mattresses. You know what I mean? They still hide money physically.
Hey, shout out to the mattress people.
True, but trying to get them.
What's your address, Omar? No.
Hey, Captain America! I've been there. We'll hit a lick together. Me and you, man. We'll hit a lick.
Cool.
So what do you do with people who don't actually want to get a MetaMask? You know what I mean? Who don't want to get a Web3 Connect wallet? Who don't trust that? And that goes back to what Kobe Jack was saying. I feel you, bro. Like again, as a black man who came up from the streets, it is very difficult to get my friends into Web3. It is very difficult.
It is, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's difficult to get anybody into Web3, honestly.
I don't know, bro, because I talk to some people and it's very easy. But
I feel
different. Like, I talk to some people and they're just with it, bro. I talk to my friends, like it's different. I
have a question. If you grew up playing video games or play video games a lot, do you think it's easier?
Oh, dude, I'm an IT professional 10 plus years in. Yeah, I grew up playing video games, TCG player, all that stuff back in the day.
Ooh, so yeah, you get it. It clicks.
Yeah, I get it. But talking to people who grew up doing like, let's be real, selling drugs on the corner. Again, I'm a black man. Now, if you're selling meth for the past 10 years, it's very difficult to convert them. If you're a woman who was used to stripping, or if you're a teacher, or if you're a guy who works at Taco Bell, you know what I mean? Everyday actual people. That's the issue, and that's what Kobe Jack's talking about. Again, those people into Web3 because that's what the main adoption is.
Yeah, no, and 100%. I mean, it's going to take a while, but go ahead, JP.
The money that they made in 2 weeks, they're not going to go spend, in 3 hours just being in the metaverse, buying the Oculus.
Not true, man. These people don't even know how to use their money, dude. They spend that money quicker in real life versus for people I know, like that's day-to-day money. You know what I'm saying? They spend that money, they make it, they spend that money on their kids, their family, getting food, paying bills they're behind on, paying on credit card debt. And that's why I do think that metaverse adoption probably will take longer because an everyday person is paycheck to paycheck and already behind on their everyday bills and necessities. You know, to get ahead. I don't see it, honestly.
I think it's gonna start being widely adopted once kids start going to school in the metaverse. Once kids start going to school in the metaverse, that's when you know.
That's years, man. I
The
think
pandemic wasn't enough for you.
But I mean, kids going to the metaverse. I mean, again, you're talking about regions that can afford it. You're not talking.
No,
about
100%, 100%
is even there, right?
I'm not talking global. I guess when I say mass adoption, I more say because I'm more say there's countries that have reliable access to internet. For sure. It's crazy to see the dude. It's crazy that some countries are just don't have access to internet, and we're living in a virtual world.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Access to internet, man, it's crazy.
You have to understand that there's some places in certain countries that don't have access to electricity. So you're talking about the internet, man.
No, I mean, yeah. There's all sorts. Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just
Ukraine.
Oh no, I mean that's a country we know about, but I'm talking. Let's just say countries.
No, I know.
There's certain.
Y'all think North Korea is gonna get in the metaverse?
I mean, I'd imagine North Korea already has their own.
I mean, my money's probably on South that we'll know about, but North secretly we'll never know.
We'll never know. Well, I mean, once they go on the blockchain, though, man, we should be able to see it.
Dude, once someone says one little inch of something about North Korea, the person disappears.
Kim Jong Un's MetaMask wallet. What do you think he's got in there, man?
Have you? Just based on the fact that you see the globe at night and there's no lights over there, just tells you right there that something's up.
Man.
Yeah, but a guy that went to Cambridge and is one of the richest people in the world, he keeps the oppression. Of course, he has a MetaMask. He has multiples, just not under his name.
That's how we also
probably.
Yeah, we also be doing that as an example.
I wonder, dude. Because of government regulation, but I wonder how many actual government officials are just abusing the system right now.
All of them. I think with crypto, I know
Next question.
2011, 2010 that were flipping, doing money laundering and selling to their friends. I would have crypto 2015. I would have been rich by now.
I mean, Bitcoin was originally used for underground transactions and criminal activity.
We all know the Silk Road and Silk Road 2.0. Who wasn't buying and selling to their kids, their friends in high school? I know I did. It was easy money.
I mean, that's how I learned about Bitcoin. So I mean, I can't even be mad about that. $147 a coin.
It was easy, bro. Buying asses and all kinds. You know what's up, bro. You knew 2008. You knew 2008.
Man, things have changed. Things have changed. Things have changed.
Completely.
But I mean, even just looking back a couple years and how things have been and how things are going now with adaptability in the metaverse and all of that, I'm seeing certain, and it sucks because this is the funny thing. From the beginning, you always but you always heard about all of these people talking about interconnectability and how the metaverse is supposed to connect and everything's supposed to be so peaceful. And then now we're fast forwarding to right now where we are, and maybe even 6 months to a year down the line, you're just hearing, oh, well, this metaverse and that metaverse and this metaverse. And it's like, wait, I thought these were all supposed to be the same thing. So it's like, why are they all different all of a sudden now?
I think you just understood wrong.
Okay, so please help me understand better.
I mean, they're supposed to bridge for sure, but I think they're all gonna. But when you bridge, they don't necessarily become the same thing, right? I could just go from one to another, and the problem is the NFTs you want to take off. Let's say you want some NFTs from VB to Upland. In the dream world, yes, every NFT would have utility in every metaverse, but that's just not going to be the case because metaverses will provide you NFTs that only have utility within their metaverse.
Okay.
So, I don't know, man. Interoperability.
But so let me ask you this: if I own that NFT and I'm not asking for a utility, all I'm asking for is for it to look the exact same the way that I purchased it when I take it somewhere else. Why is that so difficult to ask for?
I mean, I think
question.
I don't know. I don't do programming. I don't do coding. I don't know the actual technical
Sorry.
aspects behind that.
Like
Did I
3D
break
software is
people's
there.
brains or something right now, or what just happened? Everybody went silent.
It's
No,
a
I'm
tricky
just.
subject.
It's
ahead.
very tricky to answer that question because, like, the integration of everything together will be ideal, like Rem said. But let's be real. Everybody wants money. Everybody wants to be the first one. Everybody wants to be the pioneer and like be the main thing that there is out there. So, are we gonna see integration in the future?
Yeah, everyone wants to build their own something, and but that's the thing though. It's probably going to get to the point where if you don't make it interconnectable with others, then it's not going to be even relevant.
I was going to say, the way the world's going now, I see project collaboration is the future, man. You have to have metaverse collab. I mean, just because the option isn't there, honestly. You have too many, I think it's less than 1% of crypto even use NFT in their wallets. So it's already a really small space realistically. So the way I see it is you have no choice to collab.
Which I find baffling, that statistic.
Yeah, I mean, the people I talk to, but then again, it's just being real, and I like data.
Yeah, I forget how much of an echo chamber we're in sometimes.
It reminds me, sorry to cut in. It reminds me a lot of like back in the day when first game studios started making their own IPs and stuff, and everyone was doing an in-house in-game engine, like that they were building locally. They weren't outsourcing, and now it's kind of turned into like you're getting Unreal, or you're going through these other game companies' engines to build their games from. And right now with Web3, I feel like we're in that same period where everyone's kind of developing their own thing and no one's really working together in like a unified kind of game space.
They want to be independent. You're saying?
Well,
not even that.
Where a lot of money is. Like if you're the game engine that everyone adopts, like that's huge.
I think you guys are just escaping the fact that everybody wants money, and in the end, that if all of these metaverses just said, "Hey, we'll pay you this and we'll pay you that," everything will just be normal.
Nope. No, every one person did it, and now everybody is retroactively copying what that one other person or company did. There's a lot of things that have to get done before you can put everything under one roof, one warehouse, one shopping center that you want to call it. There's about a dozen SEC laws that need to change. There's about 24 IRS laws that would need to be changed. There's hundreds of regular financial and regulation laws that would have to get changed to incorporate everything into one roof. So it's whoever can create all the different sectors, all the different blocks first. And then when all those laws change, they can then turn around and flip a switch. And now you have everything under one roof. That's going to be the person that's going to get it. That's going to be the one who's going to walk away.
Let me ask you this. So let me ask you this then, David. Or DJ, I'm sorry. If you're saying that, do you not think that the blocks are already there and in place, and it's more just a matter of figuring out the legalities and the actual agreements of things?
No, I do think that a lot of the blocks are already there, but they're there by different people who aren't communicating with each other. There's not like one person like a Jeff Bezos, right, who's created an NFT market, who's created an NFT, who's created his own ledger, who's created his own cryptocurrency. But nobody knows that it's the same person that's done all of that. And the moment all these laws trip, just pushes a button, and now it's all under Amazon. That's what I mean.
Yes, and going with with what you said, if Jeff Bezos sees a little guy building what we're talking about, the unity of this metaverse and all the crypto and everything, he's gonna let that guy work and then come in and say, "Hey, this is my offer for your project." And then we're in the same place as we are now. The big Amazon, Facebook, Twitter.
You don't think he'll buy him off early?
Oh, he 100% will.
No.
But he said let him work. I don't think he'll let him work.
No, I agree with JP in this aspect, because that's what Amazon has been doing to all of these small businesses who start selling on Amazon. They allow them to sell for a little bit, realize that their business is taking off, and then they take them.
Take them and they make their own product, and then they say, "Hey, your product is a copy," and they take them out of the market. I have friends that have been on Amazon.
Oh yeah, 100%. Amazon's done that. Yeah.
So Jeff Bezos knows what he's doing. He's just quietly, in the background, seeing this metaverse explode, and then when it's his turn, he has the money of the world to just go and, okay, you're not going to let me, I'll steal it from you.
I don't
But I
argue
do
with Jimmy
believe
on this one bit.
I don't argue either, but I'm mad about it.
It is.
Well-
It is very, but it's the world we live in. Look what just happened 2 days ago. $44 billion for a platform that was supposed to be speech free, and look what it turned into.
Elon Musk.
he makes everything great. Well, hold on. So many years ago, I'll see if I can find a link to the article and post it. Many years ago, Jeff Bezos had talked about what he's going to do with his fortune. I was at that conference that he was talking at.
Mm-hmm.
100% of his money, he's going to put it into space to create a network so that future, according to him, future entrepreneurs can then use that network to be able to do products or services in space to the moon and Mars. And he puts it to that Amazon never would have become a company without the U.S. Post Office. So he wants to be the U.S. Post Office, basically, in space for anything digital. Like, he's already building that. And I know he's already put in, because at that conference, he put in about $40 billion into make
I've been
that.
saying this for about 2 years now, and people argue with me about this all the time because they keep saying it's a private sector, but it's not.
No.
But Amazon can purchase and will end up purchasing the USPS, and it's all going to be one thing eventually. They've already there's so much that's in place with that. They've already been looking at locations where some of these malls where there used to be Sears and JCPenney's and stuff that all shut down. Amazon's been purchasing those locations to start using that for closer locations to people's houses and stuff like that, just for shipping. But there's 100% chance. I personally think that Amazon eventually buys out the USPS.
That's taking on a lot of debt, though. I mean, that's a lot of debt. That's hundreds of billions of dollars of debt they're going to have to take on as well.
Correct, but also look at what Amazon's capable of doing and what that would bring, and just think about all the changes that would actually implement to the postal system. Period.
I'd like to get my mail by drone.
know,
that'd be
Hey,
impressive.
I live in the Bay Area. We already get that.
Yeah, that's true. I have a question for you guys. What do you think is going to come first? Humans on Mars or metaverse mass adoption?
Metaverse mass adoption.
Yeah. Well, you're going to want
bro. We're not going to get to Mars.
Yeah.
We've gone to like 4% of the ocean.
I think we'll have people back on the moon before we go to Mars again, though.
Well, we will. That's the goal. You got to go to the moon to get to Mars.
But I'm saying, like,
we've never been
colonization. I'm not saying, like, whoa. What?
That's what he's saying. That's what
Who just said that?
You have to actually.
Hold on. Who just said we never been to the moon?
We've never been to the moon, man.
Remy, come on, man.
I can't tell.
13,
Are you saying like are you one of the conspiracy theorists? Is what you're saying?
How much time we got left on stage? We don't got time.
We got 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes, Remy.
Speak fast.
No.
Earth, Rem?
This is a trivia question now, people. Does Remy believe? We
Hold on. Hold on.
Rem,
Is the Earth flat?
What shape is the
Yes.
Earth?
Hey,
Please
man.
tell us.
Oh, God.
Hey, I'm just saying. The whole moon landing was a little fishy.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm gonna say. Let's talk about the metaverse.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which time was it, Fishy?
We're gonna talk about this later, Rem.
Yeah,
We need to have a conversation. You need to see 2001: A Space Odyssey, because I guarantee you that was the movie of the best CGI ever. And we put real people on the moon. 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then look at the moon. I mean, come on.
I'll take your word for it, man. I'll take your word for it.
That's such a cop out.
He said, "I'll take your word for it."
Yeah, right.
I'm not trying to start this conversation right now. I don't want to look like a lunatic on stage.
You already did. It's too late.
Just to change the subject a bit, how do you guys feel about kind of the correlation between metaverse and like games like Star Citizen and Kickstarter games, where people are dumping tons of money with anticipation of these things being the next big kind of IPs that everyone adopts, and then where in cases like Star Citizen, where these people are buying ships for hundreds of dollars, thinking that the game is going to be so amazing, and it just turns out to kind of be a flop.
I mean, but isn't there a few other games that people are doing stuff like that, where they're purchasing I mean, let's just use space for example. I mean, purchasing spaceships and stuff, and there's just it might be good, it might not be good, and that's kind of where they're going.
I mean, yeah, Phantom Galaxies and Star Atlas, but my problem with the Kickstarter game that you were just talking about is that it's not a blockchain game, and so I mean, purchasing ships for that much and the Kickstarter, it's probably trying to be like the next EVE Online, if I had to guess. I see. I mean, yeah, there's correlation, right? Those people are dropping that much money on a game that they're in anticipation of, and they don't even own the spaceships. They're not even non-fungible tokens. So now imagine when digital ownership exists. I mean, not when. I'm sorry. Right now, like that's sort of the idea. Digital ownership, when they're buying those, they actually own them. I think it's just gonna not increase people's incentive to put money into video games, right? Because if you're actually earning money out, why not put more money in? People have been putting, thousands and thousands, if not more, into video games, seeing no ROI, but just into having a good time. Now, if you're playing a video game you love and you can get money while playing the video game, people will be spending so much money on that.
Colby, to answer your question, I think it's the future. I think they go side to side. I think games and metaverse are going to be the future. If there's no games in the metaverse, I don't see the metaverse picking up. I think that's why so many gamers, like all of us, I think here, have played video games or still play video games, are so interested into this metaverse. So I think that's my answer.
I kind of disagree, and the only reason I say that is because if your favorite store decided to make a virtual experience where you needed to go there to make your purchase now instead of going to the physical store, you would enter the metaverse, and that's not a game. That would just be you entering the metaverse to make your day-to-day purchases. So if you had to go to Whole Foods and do a virtual experience where every single step you're coming in and you're going through the aisles and you're picking up your items and you're making your purchase, you check out, and then in 2 hours your items are ready to go pick up at the store or they're delivered to your door. You just did something in the metaverse without playing a game.
True, but who opens that world? Video game programmers are creating those worlds, so then the companies that do that, like Whole Foods and everything, can go to those developers and ask them, "Hey, you developed this such a good game. Can you develop a Whole Foods for us?" So the gamers and the video game industry are the ones putting the effort right now, and then later on, we're gonna see Nike and JCPenney and whatever you want, the store that you like. They're going to implement it, and maybe it's going to be in a game. Maybe you can go to the Nike store inside a game.
Low-key, Nike's already been doing that. I don't want to reveal too much, or you guys can do your own research, but Nike's already been buying a lot of properties, not even properties. They've been buying their own property of their physical locations, the addresses to those locations in the metaverse. Okay. So
that's awesome.
They're already planning on doing a complete virtual experience through Nike.
They own Clone X, too. They bought Reflex Studios or whatever.
Well, they have an Artifact as well, what they're doing the shoes to as well. So
here's the $7,000. Hey, just got to throw this out there real quick. We're talking about the metaverse and ownership and the possibilities. The $7,000 question: who's buying OpenDeed tomorrow?
I am not.
OpenDeed?
Yeah, obviously none of us here.
Never heard of it.
So Bored Apes.
Oh, other side?
Yeah, so they're launching OpenDeed tomorrow. $7,000. They think it's a deed to virtual land in the Bored Ape world.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I know. I've refused to buy into the ape hype for so long, and I keep regretting it because it keeps going up. So I think, you know what? At this point,
you might have to do it.
Just do what they did. You just gotta fake the Instagram drop, and you can steal 96 of them.
Well, now we know what you did, Essie.
I was at a baseball game.
Noted.
Now we know you just at a baseball game.
With those things, you're essentially buying into an alpha, though, of a game. Like, no one's really kind of played it yet. No one's experienced it yet. So you're kind of helping fund, I guess in hopes that this game will be successful. So back
Isn't
to
that what happened with Star Citizen? Didn't Star Citizen make millions upon millions of dollars on a pre-alpha?
Yeah, and then the game didn't come out, and tons of people I know that are in games, that are gamers, that are in the game industry, they were all like, "This is going to be the next big thing," and then it's like it just didn't turn out, and the gameplay didn't work out. There wasn't very many users that continually played it, and it just fizzled out. So
I have a question.
Hudson still plays it. Still puts in thousands of dollars into it. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
That's kind of like when PUBG came out. It was in its trial phase for almost a year before it actually was picked up, I think, by who was the company? But somebody picked it up and it just went to shit. I don't play it anymore, but that's what it was in the beginning. It was just a test server, pretty much.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, let me ask you guys this. And this is for anybody who has any information on this. Have you guys done any research on what's going on with these Bored Apes and the ape coin and stuff like that?
I just transferred all my ETH into ApeCoin today.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna say you bought it at a very high point. Can I ask
Of
what
course.
area you bought it at?
buy high, sell low. I mean,
yeah, exactly. So you're gonna sell it like 16 now? Is
I couldn't tell if he said that and he was serious or not.
I bought it at 17.
Okay, you're good, bro. You're chilling good then. But no, so it's funny because a lot of these apes, I don't know how the distribution worked with that, but every monkey or ape or whatever you want to call it, every PFP received a certain allocation of ape coin that they were
10,000
to everybody. So it's all the same amount.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, if you look on the blockchain, there's only 67,000 unique owners of the coins, and the cap is like 1 billion coins.
Yeah,
I forget what the circulation is right now, but going back to the OpenDeed, I mean they have the money and they've got the Aokis and the people in there. Forget Meta, Meta and Zuckerberg. I mean, he's 2.0 trying to catch up, but I mean these guys are just building their own little ecosystem. They're just separating from the rest of us,
Yeah, they've already built it. They're not even building. They've already built their own type of ecosystem where it's just completely separate. I mean, you got people like I don't like to throw names out, but you got basketball players like Steph Curry who have actually went and gone as far as redeeming their ape coins and holding on to those as well. So you're seeing people actually going and figuring out what they need to do to adapt to this and redeeming what they need to redeem. And I've been seeing people actually research and look into find certain apes that they're buying off of OpenSea that haven't redeemed their coins, so they're getting an extra deal. Even though they're paying like an extra 5 or 10 Ethereum, they're getting like 20 Ethereum worth of ape coin as well. So it's like there's so much that's going into this nowadays. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how that's not a legal problem, but
I mean, in the sense of what do you mean? As in just searching and locating that there's an allocation of coins, or
just being airdropped that much money. That much money. I mean, and it is legal. I'm just saying it's crazy.
You got to see where the coin opened at and where it's at now.
Yeah, I know exactly.
When they did the airdrop at the time,
10,000 ape coins. 2 years ago would have been like, okay, whatever. But now it's just like, holy shit.
I think ApeCoin is like super new, like in the last few months. It's not even 2 years ago.
It started off at $1.
I was going to say it started off pretty low. It went up, then it dropped. No, it started at $14 is where it opened at, if I remember correctly. It opened at 14. It dropped down.
Did it?
It went up. Then it dropped down under the $14 area. Went down to like $10 or $11. If I need to pull the charts up, I'll be happy to. But it went down to like. But I'm going off of my memory. It opened at 14 point something. Went down to like 10 or 11. And then everybody was all doing the talk of it's done, it's dead, it's this and that, and now it jumped up to like 26, 27, and now it's done a lot, man, and it's pretty
I watched on Coinbase go from like $1 up to 30 and then crash into pennies all in just a couple hours.
Well, and look at Solana. I mean, what did it spike at? Like almost 300, 200 something?
280.
Yeah.
And now it's down under 100.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, just a year and a half ago, that was like $2. So I mean, so and that I can tell you confirmed like a year and a half ago, it was like $2 for a Solana, one coin. So it's just crazy how some of that moves and how it works. You know, you just have to watch it, and even that, like you look at what their metaverse projects are behind some of these coins. I mean, you take a look at some of these coins, and you have to see what the project is behind it, and what they're doing to implement good projects, if they're even doing anything right, or if they're not. You know, like for example, Upland. I wish they would take UpX and turn that into a cryptocurrency, because I believe in the project itself and what they're doing behind on the back end. Like they're actually implementing what they need to implement. They're doing it. They're not the best with some of their time frames, but they've been doing very well, and keeping people happy is the best way to put it. So like
we have our own. We have the OddKey currency that we're all working for.
Yeah, listen, man. You know, even that exactly. You know, so like, imagine if that becomes a public token at some point. You know, it would be interesting for that to carry its ecosystem, or where it would go, or what you would need to use that to redeem it for certain items in the OddKey platform later on down the line. You know, so there's so much potential with things that can be done or can't be done. Is a good way to put it.
Yeah, a great conversation about Web3, everyone. That was awesome. That was a good time.
Very informative.
Listen to everyone's opinion. That was great. Thanks for participating.
Especially all the people that came up to the audience.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming to stage. Anyone have any final thoughts for today's discussion?
Hey, I've got one more thing to add, if you don't mind, if you have just an extra minute.
Yeah, not at all. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing, you know, we talk about mass adoption, which I think we all agree at some point it will happen in the future. But I think a different layer of mass adoption that'll happen before mass adoption will be forced adoption into certain segments of industry. And I think one of those you're going to see in financial sectors, you know, like in banking or in other, you know, the other investment avenues. But I think specifically how I say more of a forced adoption, you think of it just like what's happened has been, not what has happened, but what is continuing to happen with money, how we pay for things, right? We used to only carry cash around, then you only carried a checkbook around, and then it was debit cards, and now it's other, you know, a dozen different ways that you can use your money to pay for things. Yeah, exactly. So the same thing is going to happen, and it's starting to happen. It's going to happen with legal documents, right? Where are your marriage licenses and birth records and deeds of trust when you get dead on your house? All that's still filed physically in courthouses across the country. So what will happen, and this is again like a deeper layer, like we're all focused on these NFTs now for, you know, for art and utility and like the funness of it, but eventually NFTs are going to transform into legal documents, where it's not a PDF document sitting on a courthouse's server. It's an actual legal fingerprinted real digital copy that you own, but it's an NFT of the deed to your home, or it's an NFT to the title to your car, or it's the NFT of your driver's license or your passport. So you're not going to have to physically carry around a piece of plastic anymore. That's what it's going to eventually. And when I say mass adoption, it's going to be like a forced adoption, where your only option to get a driver's license is going to be the NFT version of your driver's license. Now, we're certainly a few years from that, but that's absolutely the direction that it's going.
So, Moose, this is the thing, and I hate to burst your bubble on that one, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but this is a conversation I had with my lawyer about a year ago, talking to him about this, and actually trying to adapt this to legal documentation and things like that. And the problem with that is now you do that, all of this information becomes public information, and most of this information is usually sensitive and can't be public. A lot of people don't want this information to be public, so that's where the information and the situation comes in about, where it just becomes a little bit of a fishy, or not even fishy, but a little bit of a touchy situation, because you got legal documentations that are now private that are becoming public on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not a burst of a bubble at all. All the documents, with the exception of driver's licenses, anything in a courthouse is public record. You just have to, you either have to physically go and get it, or you have to log into that particular county site. It absolutely is public record.
Mm-hmm.
So But I see what you're saying. A lot of those special legal documents are not public records. So I think at some point in time too, there's going to be an NFT version, but it's not going to be a public version of it. Now there might be a public address, like you've got your public MetaMask ID and Coinbase and whatever else, but someone might not be able to visually see the document, but they know that it's out there.
Well, I mean, there is something that's like that already in NFTs. It's called the secret network. I think, I don't know if it's spelled exactly as that, like secret, but it's called the secret network. And the owner of the NFT has to decide if they want to make the information public. If not, they can keep it private, and even the ownership of the actual documentation and all that is completely private. So I mean, there is something like that. Don't get me wrong, and I do agree with you in that. I just don't know, man. I really do think it is something that could be implemented, and I hope it is. I just don't know if it's really going to get implemented. Maybe it might not, because due to stubbornness is a good way to put it too. You know, I mean, we're dealing with a lot of that right now too. So.
You're absolutely right. It's going to take a long time. It's taken, back in the early 2000s, they started the process, and it's still not done yet, of eliminating the use of physical checks. Now it's drastically reduced. And part of it has been because of the forced adoption from governments, forcing people to get ACH payroll, and the food stamp cards are now all ACH money. So they've forced the elimination of things like that. So again, we're years away from that happening. I certainly see the need for people to physically go and get documents in our world that this small group lives in right now. It seems crazy that we still have to do that. And I think you're looking 15, 20, 30 years down the road, certainly going to look like a different place. So just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, no, and I like that, man. I think you have a very valid argument towards it, and I really do think that that's kind of where we are heading. I didn't mean to say it in a negative manner or anything like that, where I was downplaying what you're saying, because I definitely think that is kind of the direction we're heading in. It's just one of those things where we just kind of have to see where it goes, or how people implement it, or how it works, because with legal documentation, like you said, it's all public, so yes, it is public information and stuff you can get, but then how do they go about the let's just say something as simple as fingerprinting and stuff? Do they fingerprint and then they turn that into an NFT as well? Or there would be a lot of things that they would have to figure out, I guess.
They kind of do something similar to that with LiveScan already.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Okay. Just like that.
This has been great conversation. I've really enjoyed this tonight, guys.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you joined.
Yeah, us too, man.
All right. Well, yeah. I hope you guys all have a good night, and we'll be back here next week, same time.
Good night, guys.
Yes, thank you guys very much for joining.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in.
See you later. Take care.